So it's a couple years ago, first year university, and I'm sitting in my student accommodation study room in the morning studying. I'm sitting next to a friend. So I had this morning routine at the time where I would wake up around 9, 10 a.m., 9 a.m., and I'd have a quick snack. Then I'd head down to my university accommodation study room and I'd study for about an hour or two. Then I'd go have lunch, go to university, go to classes, go to club activities, adventure around the city, meet friends, go on with my day. But every morning I would have this 1 or 2 hour period where I'd sit in that student accommodation study room and I'd study. And on this morning, I'm sitting next to my friend studying. Anyway, I do my study session, I leave, I eat lunch, I head to university, and I realize something. On my way to university, I realize something. I realize I've lost my phone. I reach into my pocket and I realize I don't have my phone in my pocket. And I'm not sure if I dropped it on the way to university. I'm not sure if I left it in the student accommodation. I'm not sure if I left it at breakfast, because in the morning I don't really use my phone. So I'm late to class, so I can't go back and go look for my phone. I don't have my phone, so I can't contact my friend to ask him if I left it in in that room. So, okay, no problem. I accept my fate. I accept that my phone is somewhere. I gotta go to my classes. I've got like 6 hours of classes today. I'll go to my classes. I'll come back around, evening time. Around 9 p.m. is when I can head back, because I've got some stuff to do for the day, and I can see if my phone is anywhere in my student accommodation. So I go on with my day, and about 9 hours later, around 9 p.m., I head back, reach my student accommodation, and I go to the study room, to the desk where I was sitting to look for my phone. And luckily, seated right there is my phone. So I managed to find my phone. Thankfully, I found it, but I noticed something else. Something else a bit interesting. Next to my phone, right next to where my phone was seated, where I was in the morning, is my friend. My friend who I was studying with in the morning. And he's seated in the exact same position he was when I left. His computer, his books, everything around him is in the exact same position as when I left. The only difference was there was some boxes of food from food that he'd been eating throughout the day. And I was like, bro, have you been here since morning? Have you even moved? It's been 12 hours since I came here. Have you just been seated here for 12 hours? And he was like, yeah, bro, I got an exam in a week. I got to sit here and I got to study all day, bro. And at that moment, I realized something. My approach of studying 1 to 2 hours a day, and honestly, I would study 1 to 2 hours a day and I'd still get A's. I graduated my university degree with an over 80% average. I graduated high school with an over 80% average. I'm not flexing or anything. I'll explain to this video how I approach this. I'm not a genius or anything, but I realized that most students spend all day studying and they still don't get good marks. And here is the reason why. It's because students study hard, but they don't learn how to study smart. I know you've heard this phrase a bunch of times, study smart, not hard, but no one knows how to actually study smart. People just think put in more hours, and you'll get better results. But learning how to study is a skill in itself, and that's what I want to give you in this video. In this video, I want to give you the ability to study less than 2 hours a day, because in my opinion, that's really all you need to do well. If you can study effectively, you can seriously chop down how much you study every day. That's the goal of this video. Because here's the problem. Not learning how to study is kind of like, imagine you've got a boat race in a couple months. You're going to be on a lake and you're going to race a boat. Pardon this really weird example. And you buy a canoe, a canoe with a paddle. And for many months, you master the canoe. You become a god at paddling this canoe, this boat. And you turn up at the race, at the starting line with your canoe, and you're like, okay, I'm going to win this race. And you look around you at the other competitors, and they've got speedboats. They're on jet skis, right? And the race starts, the race gun goes off, and the guys on the speedboats race ahead, and you're there behind, lagging behind, rowing as fast as you can, right? This example, being on that rowboat, training every single day, that's 99% of students. They're studying hard, they're studying all day. In this video, I'm going to teach you how to get a speedboat, how to study so effectively that you only need to study 2 hours a day. Anyway, I'm going to get right into it. No more wasting time. But basically, you want to study so effectively that your eyes don't even leave the screen. That's the goal. This is called deep work. When you enter this flow state, this deep work state, you are so intensely focused that your eyes don't even leave the screen. You become so effective because when you get distracted, you don't realize this. You are so much less effective because they've done studies on this. If you just check your phone once, it takes you about 20 minutes to get back into that deep work flow state. Excuse me. So, okay, the first thing holding you back from achieving that deep flow state is distractions. I know you probably know about this. Distractions are holding you back, but I'm going to tell you some things about distractions that you probably don't actually realize, and this is going to help you a ton pretty much instantly. So there's actually two kinds of distractions you need to know about. There's outer distractions and there's inner distractions. So outer distractions are the ones you probably know. It's stuff going on in the outside world that are distracting you. So the first thing I can tell you is your phone. I know it sounds obvious, like your phone is distracting you, stopping you from studying well, but pretty much all students study with their phone next to them. Bro, if your phone is next to you, like that study I said, if you just check one notification, it pulls you out of the flow state, out of the focus state for up to 20 minutes. So here's what you do. Personally, if I'm at home, I put my phone under my bed. I don't even look at it. I get it out of my vision because like a robot, we always check our phones. So get your phone out of your vision. That's the first thing. If you're in the library, put your phone away in your bag. Put it onto airplane mode. Don't let people contact you because it's going to distract you, pull you away from that study session. Now, the next distraction is stuff going on in your peripheral vision, in your vision. Now, people differ on this. Me personally, I've tested this out. If I'm in a library and there's people walking in front of me, I'm always going to get distracted looking at them. So notice if you get distracted by people in front of you and try to sit somewhere where there's nothing going on in front of you. So if I'm in a library, I'll find a corner where there's nothing going on in front of me. Or bro, you could even put up your hood and really lock in your vision into like a small field of view. I know people differ on this. I know some guys who can literally, there could be a gunfight going on in front of them and they're still there writing their essay. So people differ on this. And the final distraction I'll bring up is sounds. Music, sounds going on can pull you away. I'll go into more detail on this later, how to get an environment that has zero distractions. But first I want to talk about the second kind of distraction. This one's a lot harder to overcome, but if you can overcome this, this is the secret to insane focus, to insane deep work, to become effective. You need to master this. It's your inner distractions. So basically, what is an inner distraction? It's not like your heart beating or your blood flowing or something like that. Inner distractions is your own brain. So as you know, you've got thoughts. Your brain is always talking away. When you sit down to study, the reason you can't focus is because it's painful. When you sit down to study, your brain starts talking to you. Your brain's like, bro, let's go do the laundry. Bro, let's go contact Joe to see how he's doing. Bro, let's not study. Let's just study tomorrow, bro. Your brain just starts talking and chattering away. Or, you're sitting down to study and you start daydreaming about, the video game you're going to play later. Or you start thinking about that time Joe attacked you. Anyway, the point is, your brain talks to you and it tries to distract you. So how do you make your brain shut up? How do you get to the point where your brain is quiet and you can focus? Because you can only achieve that deep, deep focus when your brain is quiet. So how do you do this? Well, here's the thing. 99% of people in modern society, this is the sad reality, their attention span is screwed. Okay, here's the thing. Everything in the modern day is trying to take your attention. You walk down the street, there's a million ads pulling your attention. You go into social media, TikTok, Instagram, reels are like 30 seconds long. So every time you scroll on a reel, it's trying to take your attention. We're getting our attention pulled everywhere. I watched Spider-Man a couple months ago, a new movie. And in that movie, there's like 5 different plot lines happening at the same time. Everything these days is designed to have your attention get pulled everywhere. And here's the problem with that. If your brain is used to your attention getting pulled everywhere, when you sit down and you try to keep your attention on one thing for a long period of time, your brain's like, bro, I'm used to getting my attention pulled everywhere. Please bring it back to me. So it tries to pull you away by giving you distractions to go do other stuff. Or it gives you thoughts to make you feel painful to try to go do something else. I learned this from the scientist Andrew Huberman, by the way. So this is going to sound brutal, but there's this concept called neurons that fire together, wire together. So what it means is, if you're used to getting distracted all the time, having your attention pulled everywhere, then that's how you're naturally going to be when you sit down to study. So how do you overcome this? You overcome this by doing the opposite. When you sit down and you study for long periods of time, you are training your brain to keep focus onto one thing. When you stop getting stimulated by all these apps, you train your brain to be focused on one thing. Now, this is the boring answer because I'm telling you that the way to overcome inner distractions is practice, training, by not being distracted. I mean, by practicing focusing on one thing for long periods of time. Because the problem is everyone these days wants the quick fix. They want me to give them the Adderall, the pill that will stop your brain from talking. But the reality is, to stop your brain from talking, you just need to practice. You need to train. You need to just get used to focusing on things for long periods of time. So when you sit down to study, when you next sit down to study, accept that your brain is going to try to be talking and convincing you to do other stuff. Accept that that's going to happen and just try to resist it. Make your brain your bitch. Sit down and study, even if he's talking, even if he's trying to pull you. That's completely normal. After about 20 to 30 minutes, he'll shut up. He'll realize that he's your bitch and he can't get you to do other stuff. And even after a couple of weeks, a couple of days of getting used to doing this and sitting down for an hour at a time to focus, your brain will get used to it and it'll stop complaining. It will become your new normal. So, okay, I'm going to give you an exact protocol how to literally achieve this deep focus thing. So here's what you need to do. Every day, this is what I like to do. You need to put aside a period of about 1 to 2 hours and create what I like to call a protected hour. So what a protected hour is, it's about a 1 or 2 hour period every single day where you turn up, no distractions, there's nothing in your peripheral vision. So either you're sitting in a corner or you're sitting in your basement or you're sitting in your computer where there's nothing going on. And for 1 or 2 hours, nobody can contact you. There is no distractions going on. Your phone is away. And you are fighting your brain to focus on something for 1 to 2 hours at a time. It's going to be very difficult for the first couple of days because, you're going to want to do other things. You're going to make excuses not to do this. But after a couple of days, your brain will become your bitch. You will sit down and do some focus with no distractions. And this protected hour, 1 or 2 hours, do it every single day. And you will get a ton accomplished in this 1 to 2 protected hour. So that's the thing. Like, okay, there's an analogy I like. Imagine prisoners. Prisoners, they go to jail for like a year and they come out of prison jacked, right? Like, it's like the prisoners will go to jail for a year and they'll come out jacked. Why? Because there's nothing to do in prison except go to the gym. So if you put yourself in a scenario every single day where for 1 to 2 hours there's nothing to do except study, you're going to study. You're going to be so bored that you're just going to study. Your brain's going to be trying to tell you to do other things to try to make you feel painful. But it's going to give up eventually and say, okay, let's just study for 1 to 2 hours. And you'll get used to focusing. You'll get used to doing deep work. And you'll destroy everyone. Because 99% of people can't even sit down for like 20 minutes and focus. If you can get to the point where you can do 1 to 2 hours, trust me, when you get really good at it, that's all you need. You just need like 1 to 2 hours a day to get some serious work done. So yeah, that's the end of the video. But by the way, if you're trying to grow your YouTube channel, first link in the description, I've got a free community where I help people grow their YouTube channels. I'll be active in there, replying to comments, making posts. Join if you're interested. See you later.